So you're interested in the Monocentropus Balfouri tarantula, also known as the Socotra Island blue baboon. Well, you've come to the right place. We are gonna do a little unboxing of this species, how you would normally get them in the mail if you purchase from me or somebody else. I'm gonna show you all the abouts. It's gonna come in an insulated box usually, just like this. And inside is gonna be the communal, because this is a very communal species, and we tend to sell this species in a communal count. So normally on my website I sell them at counts of 6s and 7s, and in here we have about 7. You will receive them in a vial just like this, and then once you open the top, there's gonna be 6 or 7 in here, depending on how many you order. Or more, you can get a count of 25 if you would like. So this is fine and dandy. Obviously, these guys can't live in here. So what are these guys gonna go inside of? For a count of 6 or 7, this is exactly what I recommend. You don't need anything bigger at this stage. They're roughly around an inch, inch and a half or so, maybe inch and 3/4. So this container, it's about 4.5 inches tall and about 6.5 to 7 inches, and that's it. That's all you're really gonna need. Don't go anything bigger, don't go anything smaller. This is gonna be the perfect size for them. So the reason why, and this is very important, the reason why you don't want to put Balfouri inside a large container is because it is a communal species. There's several of them in here, and you want the Balfouri to be very close to one another. You want them to congregate together so they don't cannibalize. If you give them too much space, like a 10-gallon or a 5-gallon enclosure, they're gonna separate. They're not gonna stay put in one area. They're gonna have too much space. And let's say one of the Balfouri go and pick a corner inside the enclosure, it's gonna be used to being solitary. And then when he gets close to the brothers or sisters, the siblings, it's not gonna be as communal. It's just not guaranteed that they're not gonna cannibalize. So what you wanna do is give very little space as possible so they're always within reach of one another. If you don't have something like this, don't worry about it. It's not that important. It doesn't have to be exactly this. Make sure it's just not too big. Pick something that's around the same dimensions. Anything plastic would work, or even glass. So I have a very thin plastic over here, and there's not much ventilation. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna poke a whole bunch of holes in here. So the M. Balfouri, they come from a very arid location. They do not require a lot of humidity, and you want to give them a decent amount of airflow. Next thing we're going to want to do is add some cocoa inside the enclosure. That's what I use, is just straight cocoa. I don't mix anything in there. I just use straight cocoa fiber. Nothing else in here, no sphagnum moss. I mean, you can add some sphagnum moss if you feel like it, but it's not necessary. And that's it. So I'm going to just throw a couple pieces of cork bark in here. A couple of heights for them, and then the fun part comes. We're gonna take the contents out of this vial, the 7 Balfouri, and we are going to add them into this setup. For demonstration purposes, I'm gonna probably take them out one by one, but what you could do is just put this straight inside and wait for them to come out. Or another option would be just to take the paper towel out and then unwind it inside there. Actually, you know what? We'll do that. This is roughly the size Balfouri that you guys are gonna get if you're purchasing from me. Approximately this size. So we're gonna add these guys in here, and I'm gonna spray some water in here, just maybe along the edges. After their journey through FedEx, they're probably thirsty. They might get a little dehydrated in transit. And then this is literally all you have to do for a very successful setup of a communal of 7. Now, if you're interested in a much larger communal, let's say like a 25 or a 50, I do have those available as well. Let me show you guys one of my larger communals that I have set up over here that I also sell out of. So this is pretty much why the Balfouri is my favorite species of all time. Like, I say that about pretty much every species that I have in this room, but this is for real. Like, Balfouri are truly one of the most amazing species of tarantula, and they're just super communal. They're the most communal species out of all tarantulas. I think there's like 900 species of tarantulas out there, and these are the most communal. There are some other communal species, but none are as communal as these guys. Check them out. So, question for you all. Do you guys want to guess how many are in here in this big tub? Oh my god, look at this. Comment down below in the comment section what your guess is how many there are in here. And also, would you attempt to stick your hand in here like how I'm doing? You know, they say that old world species are very aggressive. When it comes to Balfouri, raised in a communal setting, just like this, they're not gonna be very defensive. Just a big misconception out there, and I wanna break that. And again, I don't recommend you stick your hand inside here and do what I'm doing. Not at all, just don't do it. But I feel like I can. I'm confident enough. I've been keeping this species for over 10 years and I know their behavior super well. So I can do that because I'm pretty confident that I'm not gonna get hurt, but I just can't go on camera and say, hey, you guys should do this as well. So why am I breaking their home? Why am I just tearing their silk, their web? When you have an enclosure this big with so many in here, you want to do this every so often. And the reason for that is just in case there's a tarantula that has passed, you want to be able to locate the bolus or the dead tarantula and you want to remove it. It's good hygiene, and every so often I recommend anybody with a communal to be just tearing apart the entire communal and taking out if there's anything dead. Now, I don't see anything dead. As you guys, there's just a whole bunch of molts. As you guys could clearly see, this enclosure hadn't been touched in quite a while, and I'm going through all of these guys and not a single dead tarantula. You could see how friggin' communal this species really is. And with the communal this size, I kid you not, we'll come back in here in like 2-3 days and they're gonna have this entire enclosure wrapped up in web. It takes no time for them. And again, I want to emphasize and show you guys that not a single dead tarantula was located. Nothing. Clean, perfect, no issues at all. And that's what you want to see in a big communal like this. So this is not the prettiest communal, obviously, but I'm also, urban tarantulas, we are known for having the largest adult Balfouri communal in the world. We started with about 646 of them, and it just slowly dwindled down to lower numbers. I started selling them, and we're restarting the world's largest communal. We're gonna get back up there again. And now we're gonna run some clips of the old Balfouri communal in all its glory. So I want to show you guys an adult female Balfouri. This is one of my breeding females, and she's actually laid quite a few sacks for me. And she looks something like that. She's a fat female. She's probably got a lot of eggs in her right now. We're waiting for a sack from her, and wow, look at that booty. Look at that booty. She's being a little defensive, but it's okay. So when a Balfouri like this female is in a solitary environment and she's one of the breeding females, they're gonna be a little bit more defensive. Now check it out. This is one of my keepers. This is what I call a high blue Balfouri. Nice. Look at the coloring on her carapace. This coloring right over here. I'm not sure if the camera is gonna be able to pick up the blues, but she is just an absolute beauty. Oh my God.
Oh.
Not all of the Balfouri have this super high blue contrast, and this particular female, she's a looker. Definitely a keeper. Woo! Yep. We don't want her to come out as I coax her out. No, pretty mama, you gotta get back in there.
So Arm, how large will this spider get?
Time out!
As an adult.
She is almost actually, I'm trying to concentrate over here. All right, she's back into her enclosure now. So as we were saying, this is, I would say, she's probably like 2 molts away from being full size, but she's pretty big. I think she's a really good size. This is plenty big enough to produce lots and lots of babies. Balfouri normally are sexually mature at around 3.5 to 4 inches. As far as the maximum size adult, they have a potential to reach about 6 inches, maybe a little bit larger than that. Babies. So I will not sell babies at this size. They're too tiny. If you're gonna be purchasing Balfouri, make sure the seller has kept the babies with the mom for at least 3 months, possibly, maybe even longer, until the babies are about 1 inch. You don't want to sell Balfouri if they're under 1 inch or so. They just do so much better when they're at a good size. And the mother feeds them actually. You throw a big cockroach in there or a mealworm and you're gonna go in there, mother's gonna have like the mealworm in her mouth and the babies are gonna be foraging. Ugh. What do we have here? We have here 10 years worth of Monocentropus Balfouri molts. I've kept them. I mean, most of them at least. It's not all, I'm sure. There was some that didn't make it in here, but these are the molts of only Balfouri. Isn't that crazy? Wow. There's a lot. Comment below and let me know what you guys think, how many are in here. 100, 500, 5,000. Comment below, let me know your guesses. I'd be interested in knowing. Balfouri are just such amazing species. If I could keep only one species of tarantula in this entire room, it would definitely be the Balfouri. If you guys learned something, if you guys got something out of this video, wonderful. Like, subscribe. All in all, Balfouri are the coolest species of all 900 tarantula species out there, in my opinion. If I could just have only one species to keep for the rest of my life, I mean, that would suck because I love a lot of species, but with just one species that I could choose from, it's gonna be the Monocentropus Balfouri, the Socotra Island blue baboon. With that being said, if you guys have enjoyed this video, if you guys gathered information from this video, wonderful. If you're interested in purchasing Balfouri, I'll put my website down below. They're just wonderful species, and I think every single tarantula collector should have some Balfouri in their collection. I could never get enough of the Balfouri species, especially in a communal setting. Urban tarantulas, out.